Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show, we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Season 1 finale of Marvel's hit Monkey. A great season finale. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. First and foremost, we're picking up after the last episode. Now they have to go after Shinji, but now that he's Prime Minister, you got everyone in your way. Police, I think just like the military in general. You've got Yuki, you've got Silver Samurai, and obviously it's like Lady Bullseye is going to be here somewhere. So the odds don't look good. So Bryce's attempt at a pep talk went kind of nowhere. But when the time came, he calls to Yuki and like, hey, we're doing a favor for the monkey. And she's like, oh, the monkey, he's a noble warrior. He's like, yeah, that same guy, yeah. Well, get that cop over there. And so they explain everything to Haruka about Shinji being behind everything, and it makes sense. And also, like, they don't think Akiko's behind any of this. Which I love that it's like, Haruko's like, oh, you speak monkey? It's like, no, I'm speaking to the ghost that's here who speaks monkey. And she's like, wait, there's another ghost here? So they try to sneak monkey in, but the Silver Samurai's like, no, I want this. The guy's like, no, this is for the guests. He's like, no, the Silver Samurai, I am the hero, I am Japan's greatest hero. So you're going to serve me. And so it turns into, he's going after the monkey, but Yuki shows up, and your boy Fat Cobra, I'm like, yeah! I'd almost forgotten about Fat Cobra because it's been a couple episodes, and I've recorded some of these on different days, so I'd let it slip my mind about Fat Cobra, but I'm like, yeah! Coming back for the season finale. I was like, I'm glad to know that you didn't get mowed down in the prison break episode. But he shows up, and I guess him and Silver Samurai he's like, oh, like, are you wearing nothing underneath that skirt? Like, how do you pee in that? Are you wearing nothing under the skirt? He's like, oh, you know I'm wearing pants. But they go toe-to-toe. Yuki's helping out as well. And I love that Fat Cobra hits it with the, like, fastball special. And I love Bryce. He was like, oh, man, I love, like, you know, it's like paying a pay-per-view for watching the Weirdos fight. You know, I mean, granted, it's for free, so it's like right in front of you, so it's not like a pay-per-view, but still, the fastball special tosses monkey up. You're like, oh, this is going to be sick. This is going to be dope. Yeah. But then, like, he doesn't throw the monkey hard enough, so the monkey doesn't quite make it, and he's falling. Luckily, Yuki's there. But then Silver Samurai does his thing, and he's like, he throws his sword, and it cuts through Bryce, and it barely misses the monkey's chin, cutting off some of it, and like, because he's teleporting all over the place. And even Bryce is like, yo, that was badass. I mean, I'm sure he's like practiced that, sure, but kudos. I mean, it's like, yo. And I love it, like, Yuki's, like, flying up with Monkey, and he's, like, teleporting all the way. I'm like, yo! That's some, like, instant transmission, like... Also, like, you know, if I had to go other anime references, it kind of reminds me of, like, some Bleach... what they call it, the flash step? What the Shinigamis do, like, when they move quickly? Yeah. Kind of remind me of that. That was actually pretty dope. And, Fat Cobra, like, did a power jump up towards... It's like, dude! Everything's going, like... crazy in this. And so the monkey's sliding on a building and grabs a rope, bam, I don't know why, like, that's one of my favorite thing in, like, action sequences, when, like, you're running toward, like, sometimes, like, someone's running to a window and they shoot it to break, like, weaken the glass so they can break through it, or just even, you know, in this case, just, you know, swinging and shooting the glass so you can make it through. So it's like, right, elevator opens, let's go to the top, because Shinji finds out that Akiko is close to the monkey. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Oz is behind this, and the monkey's already taken care of him, so this is it's over, it's all done. But, like, you know, Shinji starts getting worried, and it's like, but then, like, Lady Bullseye shows up, and I guess that's why she didn't do anything to Akiko, just because, well, she didn't want to, but also it's like, right, you're the prime, I work for you, the Prime Minister, because I work for Bonsai, because Bonsai worked for you, so I work for you. The monkey shows up, I'm going to kill him, and that way your secrets die with him. So, but obviously, like, Shinji's starting to feel bad. It's like, you haven't fully shown any remorse up until now. I mean, you were literally quoting Bonsai Master at the end of the last episode, but I guess it's like, it's finally hit him now, realizing, like, oh, like, how invested his, right, you're supporting the Hit Monkey, which they now have literally titled him Hit Monkey, you're supporting him because he's killing the people that are like his rampage is going after everyone connected to Ken's death. So you support that. So it's kind of like, yikes! It's like, why, you knew how important like this was. Like you're like, that's the thing of like, it's just interesting because I guess now it's like it's almost close. Like he's the last person in this, so I guess he starts getting a little like, oh, I'm potentially going to die because the Hit Monkey's going to get to me. So he wants to at least confess to Akiko. He tries it multiple times, but by then, Hit Monkey and Lady Bullseye go at it. What was interesting though is like Haruka like had to climb all those stairs to come after them. I like to, and I think this speaks volumes. If you notice, as this season has gone on, she has adopted more and more of Ito's personality. Because like she wasn't. I mean, and I think they made a point to do this. Like she isn't very foul mouthed like Ito until like the later parts. Because now she's like shit. Oh, this is a shit show. Like she's cussing off a storm now, and I think that's just supposed to be like she's become a bit of a, not pessimistic, but she's become a grizzled cop now just because of everything that's going down, losing her partner the way she did. So it was obviously a pretty dope showdown between her, because obviously like she takes a personal like vendetta against the monkey because their last fight was a draw. She's like, I had to end this, so I can't, like, one of us has to come out on top. And it's like, you're so annoying, because the moment she looks away, he manages to get away again. And the monkey like punched her, but she pulled out one of her teeth and fired it like a bullet. And it's like, this woman is a terrifying, like everything's a weapon. But she's also prepared for Bryce because she uses the salt, because I guess she tortured Ryoshi like for information about how to deal with the ghost. So she sprays salt and it's wounding Bryce, and she's like, oh, like talking about how pathetic he is, like, oh, remember that thing in 2011, like I stole a kill from you and you got stood up. He's like, yep, kind of not one of my proudest moments, yeah, but I remember that. And when the time comes, though, and, like, Monkey's gonna, like, on the edge of everything, she's about to kill Monkey, like, he pours salt on himself to make him, because the salt not only hurts him, but it's all because it's drawing him into the physical world where he doesn't belong. And I guess by being drawn into the physical world, he's killing himself by doing it. So even though he's severely wounded, he helps her out. He helps Monkey out, and he tells the monkey to go after Akiko and Shinji in this. And in his weakened state, he holds her back. It's like, oh, you think you're always a second-rate assassin? He's like, yeah, can't argue there, but at least I can hold you. And then Haruka comes in, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, yeah. I was like, is she actually dead? And it's like, oh, yeah, she is. And Haruka's like, yeah, that was for Ito. And she's like, oh, there's the other ghost. And he's like, yeah, hey, hi, But it comes down to Shinji finally confessing everything to Akiko about what he did. And when it came time, the monkey pulls a gun, but Akiko gets in the way. That's the complicated thing of like, yeah, you were all about like, oh, the monkey took care of Ozu. Ozu's a terrible person. He's a bad person. But then the shoe's on the other foot when the terrible person is the only other family you have left. Because he's always been there for her since her parents died. So he's all she has left. But it's like, for him, it was a situation where like Ken should have been in the lead, but in actuality, he was behind Ozu. And Bonsai Master believed like he would basically push forth all the things that they wanted and cared about. Like it was kind of like a necessary sacrifice for Japan. Like just like, but Ken even blames himself. I mean, Shinji blames himself because he's like, because the monkey kind of like, well, even Bryce took it upon himself. Like, yeah, this all started with him. It's like, no, it actually all started with Shinji. He's the one that agreed to to Bonsai Master when he reached out. It's like, he said yes, and it's led to all this countless death. Like, Shinji, for when it came to Ken dying, and at least that was one death. None of them thought that everything would, like, roll out and the dominoes would fall the way they did. Like, it was just death after death. It's like, Japan is riddled with bodies and death and blood. And it's like, Shinji never thought it would come down to this. But when the time comes, Haruka tells Monkey not to do it because it's like, right, someone like him, and for what he's done, he needs to be held accountable in court. And even Bryce is saying, like, don't do it. Like, he's like, I know from personal experience, like, if you do this, like, Akiko won't look at you the same way. Like, you don't have to do it. Because he had talked about it earlier with the monkey. It's like, right, where no matter where I end up after this, like, we're in this together. We're partners. We're two people walking the road to destiny. And he's like, despite everything that's happening to him, the monkey puts it down. And in the end, he gets his chance to ascend. He's like, hey, just just keep doing the right thing and drink plenty of water. So, but before Shinji could be arrested, he pulls out the gun. He's like, he won't let it end this way. And the monkey puts him down, which Akiko won't forgive him. It doesn't matter that he had the gun in his hand. Who knows who he was going to kill, whether it was going to be... he definitely wasn't going to kill Akiko, but he was going to kill Haruka. You know, she's a good person. It's like, you would have killed an innocent. But for Akiko, it doesn't matter. She turns against the monkey. It's like, oh, you're an animal. Once again, you were all about him killing other people until it came down to someone that you cared about. Even though this person killed someone else, but it's like, he's family, so... You know, the moment that happened, I was like, I didn't expect the ending to be what it was, but in the sense of but I knew in that moment, I was like, she's about to become a villain. Like, this is going to fuel her rage again. She just calls him a monkey. It's like, she's never going to forgive him. And it's like, yeah, because that's what Bryce wanted. He wanted the monkey not to be bound. Like, he was like, I want you, no matter what happens to me, I want you to be able to have the happy ever after. Even if it means losing my chances to sin, I don't care. Who cares about my ending? All I care about is yours, buddy. And that happily ever after got cut short. But Haruka gets him out of there because it's like, right, if people find you here, you just killed a prime minister, So she does. Ultimately, they go out and he buries the gun, representing like, right, because we found that picture of him and his Haley and Iris, and the monkey kept it because it was inside the clip. And he buries the gun, kind of a representation of like, right, burying his friend one more time, like being able to give a proper goodbye. And so Haruka is working with him, getting him out of Japan so she could because I'm guessing he's going to go to the States to honor Bryce and look after his family. But it's like, she's getting him out of town because it's like, right, you can't stay here because you're going to be in trouble. Obviously, Yuki goes back to, I think, her resting place. Fat Cobra's back in jail, but smiling because I think it's like, right, he's like, I was able to help, and also like, this won't, even if I'm back in here, I'll kind of get the run of things. So, but yeah, you see everything on the news. You don't get no subtitles for it because everything is in Japanese, but I'm assuming it's like, yeah, Hitmonkey killed the prime minister. Like, what his role to play in everything, I don't think it will ever be fully exposed because it dies with him, and like nothing, like I don't think there's anything else linking the two. Like, there's no evidence linking Shinji to any of this. It's just his like death confession, which the only people who heard were Akiko and the monkey. So they're the only ones that know the truth, so no one else does. And Haruka can't say anything without, there's no proof. Obviously, Ito gets his like his farewell and I guess his honors for dying in the line of duty. The monkey's kind of on the plane and everything. And I think Haruka's now getting better at speaking monkey because she's like, yes, your juice is in there. Like, it reminded me like 6 times. And so now, he's kind of feeling bad about everything and drinking, and Bryce is there. Bryce is like, oh yeah, I saw it was beautiful, there were dragons in it, and he's like the guy with the horns. He's like, I made a deal with him. He made a signed contract. I didn't really read it. I'm like, oh. So he's like, oh yeah, he's trying to play it up, but he didn't go to heaven. Like, even ascending, like, either it was a good place and he's just like joking about it, or it's like, no, he did, even though he was ascending, he moved on, but he still went to hell, because no matter what, the good thing. So he's like, yeah, I came back, so I guess he's kind of doing stuff for the devil, potentially, like what that contract ensues. Like, it sounded jokingly, but I think he seriously signed a contract with the devil letting him come back for we'll potentially find out in the future what those extenuating circumstances are. But Bryce talked about, like, yeah, I couldn't leave you without knowing everything. So he's like, right, we're going to go to the person who hired me, and we're going to get her to hire you. We got plenty of bad people out there to kill, so we're going to keep doing our your killer of killers. And he's also picked up a thing or two from Yuki, so now like he's kind of got the telekinetic thing going on, so he can touch stuff and move it and toss it however he wants to. So whether he'll be able to actually drink the whiskey he ended up picking up, that's another story entirely. I doubt it, but still. So I was like, right, this will come in handy going forward, and just the awkward silence of like, yeah, we're just stuck here with nothing else to do as we wait out this plane ride. So I'm guessing they're straight up going to America, because it'll probably be, Bryce, well, he'd have to pour more salt on himself to be visible to like, talk things out with Iris and stuff like that, but still plenty of bad people in the world that need to get got. So, but once again, at the end, we have Akiko, and she's in front of Shinji's body, and there's like, I think, reporters and stuff outside, and so she goes over to Lady Bullseye. I thought what she was going to do is she was going to resurrect Lady Bullseye, and I was like, right, I want you to go after and kill Hitmonkey. She does resurrect her in a sense of adopting and becoming that person herself. I think that's so interesting. Like I said, if I would have never thought, like, I guess I should have known it was only going to end one way. Like, that's the sad aspect of, like, what he did was him trying to do the right thing. Once again, you were all about him killing the bad guys. You supported his decisions until it came down to someone you care about, despite the person you care about doing terrible things. Like, the difference is, it's like, it's just that harsh, complicated thing of like Akiko won't forgive him. Maybe circumstances in the future could present her in a situation, but I think that's really fascinating. So, kind of a wild way to end the season. At the time of me recording this, which it is November 24th, I was literally about to say October. It's November 24th at the time of me recording this, and the latest articles I've seen were from about 6 days ago. Is the most recent one I think I saw that was saying it's still not clear whether or not Hulu's going to bring it back. I saw some other articles hinting that the creators of this do have plans for a second or third season if they have the opportunity. So I'm hoping for a second season, but once again, these shows on Hulu are in a weird spot because it's like they're kind of like the remnants of Marvel TV that are like, I think this Hulu's a perfect place to do stuff like MODOK and Hitmonkey do the really, really weird stuff. And I don't know in general how most people felt about this show, like whether they really liked it or not. I came across some reviews, not calling anyone, I just thought it was interesting. Like one article was just like, oh, it's a waste of a good premise. Another one was saying like, this is infuriatingly boring. Those words specific. I was like, holy shit. Like, I never realized just like how I am in my own bubble, and I'm like, when I'm loving and really enjoying something, which I really loved and enjoyed every second of this, I never felt like it was boring. It was always entertaining. So to me, it just makes me realize like, oh yeah, like people are going to have varying different opinions for me. Like some people made straight up had no interest in this show. Maybe people feel the way I did. I don't know. I just always have to remind myself, it's like, right. And that's okay. People didn't like it. That's okay. But how well received something is a big contributor to whether something's coming back for another season, but also viewership is important. How many people actually watched it? So I do hope it gets a second season, because I still haven't checked on MODOK, but like at the time I was reviewing MODOK, I don't think it was clear whether or not there was going to be a second season. They had plans for one, but whether they got one or not. So I hope we do keep this up, like doing the more adult entertainment, like Marvel stuff on Hulu. Like this is the perfect place for it, like, But maybe people will be like, they just have no interest in it. Maybe because it's animated or because it's not connected to the MCU, they're not as interested in. But I'd love to see what a second season would take us, especially with Akiko as the new Lady Bullseye. What other villains will get introduced to? Like, are they going to the States? Well, because Haruka is going to do everything she can to clear his name, so they might still be somewhere in Japan. Maybe they're not necessarily in Tokyo anymore, but they might be somewhere else in Japan, a different city. There's still the whole thing with Bryce and his family. Like, so maybe a season 2 would go a little more international, which would be interesting. Like I said, maybe like a season 2 would be entirely in the U.S. Maybe not. But yeah, I'd be excited to see a season 2. So my fingers are crossed, hoping that we get one. I mean, not just a season 2, since they do have plans for a season 2 and 3. I'd love this show. Once again, a show to run as long as they have a story that they want to tell, and as long as the creators want it to run. So if at the very least they have a season 2 and 3 storyline, at the very least I'd want the show to have 3 seasons. So I hope the show does have a future, because I'd love to see this character that I knew nothing about and have immediately fell in love with. Because I was scared for a second. I was like, are we going to lose Bryce? But it's like, nah, Bryce is back. But once again, that contract he signed with the devil, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what that entails. And I think a season 2 would dive heavy into that. But yeah, Bryce and Monkey have already worked past their ebb and flow. They found their ebb and flow and worked past all their issues. So I love to see where this partnership takes us going forward, especially as he expands as Bryce has expanded his powers. I'm also curious, are there going to be any heroes that we get to meet too? Like, once again, I know that like at least one of the people that kind of gets in the mix with him is Deadpool, and because I know for a long time I don't know if it's still there was always the topic of like an animated Deadpool series, so there could always be a collaboration on that front. But there's other people that are on that like team. Like I know Domino. There are some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are associated with, like, those are the only ones I know of, like, by name that I'm familiar enough with. The rest of the people on the list of, like, the team that Hit Monkey's a part of, I'm like, I have no idea who the hell most of these people are. But regardless, like I said, I hope that we get a second and third season, because I'd love to see where things go forward from here. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.